Hi, welcome to your Superman news video for the week February 6th to February 12th, 2015. Our top news stories in this week's Speeding Bulletin include Christina Wren set to return in Batman v Superman, Geoff Johns announces he's leaving Superman, and DC Comics set to end the New 52 branding. Let's check out these stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, Christina Wren, who played Major Carrie Farris in Man of Steel, has revealed that her character will return in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. She said, "The bits that I was on set for look fantastic, everyone in it is fantastic, it's exciting, it's high energy, it's high action. They are addressing all of the things they set up in Man of Steel." In the latest issue of Total Film magazine, Dwayne Johnson talks about playing the role of Black Adam in the upcoming Shazam movie and explains how his character could one day go up against Superman. He said it was all agreed that the worlds are all interconnected. One day you will see Black Adam go at it with Superman or Batman or any of the DC characters. With this week's release of the new animated movie Lego DC Comics Superheroes Justice League vs Bizarro League, Warner Home Video released another preview clip which features Superman and Batman learning each other's secret identities. On Saturday, February 7th, Warner Bros. Home Entertainment invited Los Angeles fans to get an early look at Justice League vs Bizarro League with a family-friendly event which included filmmakers and members of the voice cast attending for red carpet media interviews and a post-screening panel discussion. Superman homepage reporter Rennie Cowan attended the event and grabbed video interviews with Nolan North, who voiced both Superman and Bizarro, Kerry Payton, the voice of Cyborg, and others.
Hey, this is Nolan North for Superman homepage.
You can check out these interviews at our website now. At this year's Salt Lake Comic Con, Brandon Routh spoke to GoodForUtah.com about his experience playing the Man of Steel in Superman Returns, while also speaking about taking on the role of a different superhero, the Atom, in the hit TV series The Flash.
I grew up much like every other boy and girl, pretending to be Superman, running around in my cape pajamas, watching Superman endlessly on TV. So it's pretty amazing to have been able to play that character.
There's no TV news this week, so we jump straight into comic book news, where DC Comics announced that after the 2-month Convergence event in April and May, the company will take a whole new direction in June, ending the New 52 branding, while introducing 24 new titles alongside the 25 currently running series. DC Entertainment co-publisher Dan Didio said, "This heralds in a new era for the DC Universe, which will allow us to publish something for everyone, be more expansive and modern in our approach, and tell stories that better reflect the society around us." Whether you've been a DC fan for your whole life or whether you're new to the comics, there will be a book for you beginning in June. For Superman fans, you'll be able to enjoy Action Comics Batman Superman, Justice League United, Superman, Superman Wonder Woman, as well as the new Bizarro, Justice League of America, and Justice League 3001. As part of this larger announcement, Geoff Johns also announced that this past week's Superman number 38 is the second to last issue of his short run with John Romita Jr. He said, "I'm incredibly honoured to have been the lucky writer working alongside JR on his first ever monthly book for DC Comics, and I'm extremely proud of the work we've done, especially the final issue of the run, which dives deeper into the fallout from Superman's new power." Eisner-winning comics creator Gene Luen Yang, known for his graphic novels including American-Born Chinese and The Shadow Hero, will make his DC Comics debut by taking on writing duties on Superman, joining current series artist John Romita Jr. For all this, however, across April and May, DC Comics will put their normal publishing schedule on hold for the Convergence event, which will resurrect characters and stories from previous continuities. This week, DC Comics released cover images and solicitation information on the number 2 issues of the Convergence miniseries, set to be released in May. Titles include Convergence Superman number 2, Convergence Superboy number 2, and Convergence Supergirl Matrix number 2. Head to our website for the solicitation information for these and other titles in the list. Meanwhile, EW.com posted this sneak peek image of a 2-page spread by artist Ethan Van Sciver depicting all the various deaths of Superman throughout the DC history that will appear in Convergence number 0. DC Comics announced that Superman number 38 has sold out and will head back to the press for a second printing. The second printing of Superman number 38 will arrive in stores on March 11th. DC Comics also announced that the Injustice Gods Among Us comic book series, based on the video game of the same name, We'll continue on to a fourth year with Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4. Year 4 will explore the growing conflict between Superman and the Greek gods. Issue number 1 of Year 4 will be released on May 13th. Comic books we reviewed this week included Superman number 38, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who gave it a 3 out of 5, explaining the 3 points are for the introduction of the solar flare power, the return of a fabric costume, a job as a reporter, Jimmy not being richer than Bruce Wayne anymore, and Clark revealing his secret. Michael Bailey reviewed Action Comics number 39, saying there was action and horror and Superman went through an emotional journey and came out the other side stronger, and he rated this a 5 out of 5. And Injustice Year 3 Chapter 19 was reviewed by T.A. Hewitt, who gave this chapter a 2 out of 5, saying Swamp Thing's re-entry to the story will hopefully breathe some much needed life in addition to sense as well. Superman comics available this week from February 11th include Injustice Year 3 Chapter 20 digital comic has been available since February 10th, Earth 2 World's End number 19, Injustice Gods Among Us Year 3 number 9 print edition, Justice League 3000 number 14, Justice League United number 9, which is available in a Harley Quinn variant cover and another variant cover, New 52 Futures End number 41, Smallville Season 11 Continuity number 3 print edition, World's Finest number 31, Infinite Crisis Chapter 36 digital comic will be available February 15th, DC The New Frontier Deluxe Edition hardcover, Scribblenauts Unmasked, a DC Comics Adventure trade paperback, Secret Origins Volume 1 trade paperback, Superman Krypton Returns hardcover, and Superman Man of Steel statue by Gary Frank.
Don't buy Bizarro products from this online store. Me hate them. Hello?
Get yourself the Bizarro Logo Distress short sleeve t-shirt from just $13.41. And add this Funko Bizarro vinyl figure to your collection for $8.70. These and other great Bizarro items are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman Homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. And in other news, as most Superman fans know, the character was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, two friends living in Cleveland, Ohio in the 1930s. Now the city of Cleveland is preparing to honour their creation by erecting a larger-than-life statue of a flying Superman near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum as part of the elevated walkway that will connect downtown Cleveland to the lakefront. Sculptor David Deming has been quietly working on the statue for almost 7 years and said the statue will be atop a 30 to 35 foot pedestal base that will be Superman blue with small ribbons of red and yellow throughout. The statue itself will measure 12 feet from the tip of Superman's boot to his outstretched hand. The Noble Collection announced the upcoming release of a new 10-inch Superman sculpt inspired by the artwork of Jim Lee. Priced at $145, the 10-inch full-colour statue will be released on March 30th. A previously released solid bronze version of the statue is still available at noblecollection.com for $395. Wonder Festival 2015, the world's largest garage kit event, took place on February 8th in Japan, and Medicom were showing off their upcoming line of Real Action Heroes 12-inch DC New 52 figures, including the Superman and Batman figures. These figures are expected to be released around the middle of the year, and that's all the news there was for the week February 6th to February 12th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, I'm coming to you live once again from the freezing cold Arctic tundra of Siberia, and I've got behind me the new Jimmy Olsen. As you can see, Mehcad Brooks has been cast on the new Supergirl television show to play our golly gee whiz, bow tie wearing, camera toting, reporter cub type of guy, although he doesn't really look like a cub reporter, for the world's greatest newspaper, although somehow he's going to be involved with Supergirl. And I hear people saying, why is Jimmy Olsen on this show? Jimmy Olsen is Superman's greatest pal. He shouldn't be involved with Supergirl, and since we're not really sure what Superman's role will be on the Supergirl show, how come Jimmy Olsen's going to clearly be spending more time with Supergirl? Well, in the history of Supergirl and in the history of Jimmy Olsen, there have been times where the two have been romantically entangled. probably the most famous of which, or at least well known to the general public, maybe 20 years ago, was the Helen Slater Supergirl movie, where Jimmy Olsen from the Christopher Reeve movies appeared and was Supergirl's boyfriend. And that has been done in the comics before, so it's not all that odd. And they are trying to populate Supergirl's world on the show with known characters from the Superman and Supergirl universe. We've also heard about Hank Henshaw, the scientist, astronaut who goes up with his family in the old Superman comics of the 90s during the Death of Superman saga, who wasn't saved by Superman or something along those lines and ends up becoming Cyborg Superman. Now, in the New 52, Hank Henshaw hasn't been introduced and is not the Cyborg Superman that we know in the New 52 continuity. It is instead Supergirl's father, which is weird that they're going back to Hank Henshaw on the show when it's a show about Supergirl, and that seems to be a plot line that might be an interesting one for the Girl of Steel, or the Maid of Might, or whatever they want to try and call her. Now, we haven't seen a costume for Supergirl yet, but we have heard the producers talking about how cool it is, how it's a girl empowerment show, how it's going to be a strong female-driven show, which is great. We don't have a lot of that on TV, although it's becoming more and more. And now we have a minority actor cast as Jimmy Olsen. Now, this is, again, stirring up stuff the same way that it stirred up back when Perry White, Lawrence Fishburne, was cast to play that character. My feelings on this are wholly the same as they were during the Man of Steel casting phase, and that is that I wish that they would just either create or use already made Black, Asian, whatever minority that you choose characters, instead of taking well-known characters that are traditionally of a different race and then recasting them in those roles instead of casting them in these roles that we all know Jimmy Olsen is this young cub reporter type with red hair and freckles, and clearly that's not that. It doesn't matter. No, Jimmy Olsen could be anyone, but in the past and all the way up till now, we know who Jimmy Olsen has been, and this actor doesn't fit that profile. I don't mind him being on the show. I think he'll probably be fine. On these superhero shows, the acting isn't really anything to write home about most of the time, with the exception of maybe Stephen Amell, and at this point a little bit Brandon Routh, because he's a movie actor and he's been acting, and I think he's very good in the role that they have him in, even though that's not really Ray Palmer on Arrow. He's playing Ray Palmer, but that's not really any rendition of the character I've ever seen. I like Brandon Routh in the role, and I like Stephen Amell, and I have been moved by some of his speeches and some of his performance on the show. So you have a couple of choices, and I thought in general the people on Smallville were all cast really well. Occasionally you get a Michael Rosenbaum, you get a John Glover, who are just fantastic in their roles on these shows. John Snyder and Annette O'Toole were all good, but you look at these shows, The Flash now, Gotham, and a lot of the supporting cast and a lot of the guest stars, the ones that come in to be a villain or a nurse or a cop, are not particularly great actors. And so I don't think the acting necessarily matters. My bet is, and I've said this and I've gotten told that I'm just being negative, my guess is, which must have happened with Johnny Storm and Annie, and now they're talking about James Bond and Perry White and Jimmy Olsen here, is that they went in with a decree. We're going to cast a minority in this role, probably a black person, because we want to populate the world, make it look more true to what the world is. And that, of course, depends on where you are. But it doesn't matter. You can have anybody in any area. The question is, should we and did we have to cast a black actor to play wide-eyed, golly gee whiz, red-haired, freckled Jimmy Olsen? And I don't think we did, but I think they went in with that decree. Same with Johnny Storm. We need to make these superhero movies and these superhero TV shows more diverse. We need to show that we're not against casting off type. We need to show that we're advanced. We need to show that we're ahead of the times, even though we're all way behind the times in general. It's okay to cast black actors, Asian actors, white actors, any kind of actors you want in any show you want. What's a little off-putting to people is casting them in roles that everyone on the planet knows as not being that type. Generally, when a casting call goes out, this is not against any race or any creed. This is they go for a type. If they're looking for Superman, they're looking for kind of an all-American, slightly hunky-looking, dark-haired, blue-eyed, although they can cast him without the blue eyes, but generally they're not going to go for an overweight, slovenly woman or something to play Superman. It's just not the way they normally do it. Now, they are expanding that, clearly, and it's a positive thing in that there are going to be more major characters played by black actors, hopefully Asian actors, hopefully Spanish actors. It's been a problem for a long time, but I don't know that going in with a decree that this is what we're going to do, as opposed to going in and saying, we're just going to take the best actor no matter what. I don't feel like that's what's happening, because then you get people like Sam Jones III, who in my mind couldn't have been the best actor for that role. And he grew on me, and it was fine in the role, and, you know, it was okay. But Pete Ross also wasn't black, and I think they just went against type on purpose. Same with Lana Lang. A redheaded, you know, white girl ends up being an Asian girl. And they're doing it to make TV more diverse and give people more opportunity. And I understand all of that. And but I also understand people saying, why are they changing who Jimmy Olsen is? And that's kind of what they're doing. And I think they're doing it just to do it because they can and because they think it's something they need to show they can do. But I'm still looking forward to the show. I think Mr. Brooks will be fine. I just don't know that we need to force cast people. There are other roles, there are other characters, and you could have written Supergirl's new boyfriend to be this guy without it having to be Jimmy Olsen, and it would have been perfectly fine. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.